Now, this is a normal example of a multiplication program. We have declared the variable 1, variable 2, and variable 3. All of them are of integer types. And for the variable 1, we have assigned the value 5, and for variable 2, we have assigned the value 6. For variable 3, we have assigned the value 0. Now, as you can see, we are doing some kind of multiplication operation between variable 1 and variable 2. And we are storing the resultant value to the variable 3 here. Again, we are doing some multiplication operation between the variable 3 and variable 1, and we are storing it to the variable 4. At the end of the program, we are just printing it with the help of the printf function. To get rid of this repetitive task, we can write one function. This is the multiply function. So when we are going to use this function, we do not need to write this logic again and again within our program. We can just call this function, the multiply function, whenever we need to do the multiplication operation in our program. Like here, if we call this multiply function and we get the result out of it, we can just store them to variable 3. Again, if we need to do some multiplication operation between variable 3 and variable 1, we can get it done with the help of this multiply function, and the resultant output we can just store them within the variable. The same concept actually goes for the printf function too. We do not write the core functionalities of the printf function within our program. We just call it and we just pass the necessary parameters with this function, and after receiving all these arguments with the help of this printf function, the resultant output will be printed by this printf function. So function is a very convenient way so that we can avoid rewriting the same code again and again in our program. A function is a specific task that involves single or multiple steps. To do that task, we may involve single or multiple input, and after the processing is done, we get some output or outcome. For example, think about cooking. For cooking, these inputs are considered to be ingredients, and the specific task is actually the cooking process itself, and the result, we are going to get the dish. Similarly, for programming, a function is a block of organized and reusable code that just performs a specific task. For example, the printf function. We do not need to write the printf function in our program. We just call it and we get the work done. Basically, there are two types of functions: predefined function and user-defined function. Predefined functions are the built-in functions or standard library functions. These are already provided as a part of programming language standard library. Like for example, the printf function, which is actually residing within the standard input output.h header file. For user-defined function, these are the functions created by us, the programmers, to perform a specific task within the program. So user-defined function gives us the freedom to craft the function in such a way which will serve our purpose. Now this is a prototype of a user-defined function. Here we are writing the function name, and after that we are giving the parenthesis. Within this parenthesis, we are going to write the parameter names and their data type. So first, before writing the parameter name, we will write the parameter data type. Here the parameter data type, then parameter name, again with the comma. There is a second parameter data type and second parameter name. These parameters are considered to be the input, which can be a single or multiple input of the function. With the help of return statement, we are going to return the value with this particular type out of this function. Now here within the body of this function, some processing or the work is being done. After the processing, whatever the result that we want to return out of this function, we will return that value with the help of this return statement. So this return statement will return the outcome of the mentioned return type that we have already mentioned right here. If we are mentioning an integer type of return type for this function, then definitely this return statement should return a value which is of integer type. Now if we try to consider the cooking analogy here, these inputs are considered to be ingredients, and the result out of this function is considered to be one dish. A function contains function declaration and prototype, function definition, and the third part is function calling. Now these two parts are very important, so first we will learn this and then we will learn the calling. Function declaration or the prototype means that you are declaring one particular function with its necessary parameters and with its necessary return type. So this gives the compiler one hint that there is one function that you have declared whose input types or whose parameters types are integers, and the return type of that particular function is of integer type. Now, as you have written one declaration, then definitely you have to write one definition, because the inner functionality will be written within the function definition here. Now here within the function definition, as you can see, this thing actually matches with this function definition right here. So the declaration part should match with the definition part, but the variable name can be different, but the data type right here and the data type right here should match. Also the return types data type should match, and the name of the function also should match between the function declaration and the function definition. Now within the function definition, we are going to write the necessary functionalities within the function, and finally we will return data out of this function. Now a function may not have return types, a function may not return any kind of value. There are different kind of functions. We will learn all those different type of function later when we will cover the function chapter, but for now just understand this is the basic syntax, that after some necessary work is being done within the function, we will return some value out of the function with the help of this return statement, and this return statement should return a particular kind of value whose data type should always match with the return type of this function. Now within the myprogram.c file, as you can see, first we have written the header files, and then we have written the declaration part. Now this myfunc is actually being declared right here. Within the main function, we are going to write the function body or the necessary functionalities within the main function, and the declaration part should be placed before the main function, and the definition part, we have defined all those functions like the my function or user defined function 2 and user defined function 3 after the main function, and here within the main function the call is being done. So when we are doing some function call, we are just going to write the name of the function and we will pass the necessary arguments within the function. Now here the value 5 and value 6 are the arguments. Now after this argument is being passed, because of we have declared the myfunc function here, so now the main function has that idea that one function has already been defined somewhere else in your program, which is here. But if you do not write this myfunc declaration part here, then the main function won't have any kind of idea that whether there is any myfunc function defined in your program or not. So the declaration statement is very important if you want to use a function within your program. Now if you write this definition statement before the main, then you won't need this declaration statement right here, because your program has already got that idea that you have defined one program, because you have written that definition part before the main function. So the main has already got the prior idea that you have defined the function here. But the best practice is to follow the thumb rules, like the declaration comes first before the main, and after the main we will write all those user defined functions. With the help of this program, we will understand how calling function and receiving from the user defined function usually happens. With the help of this printf function, we are calling the printf function from the C library. So the body of the printf function has already been defined within the C library itself. Now let's talk about the user defined function. Now for user defined function, here we have declared one user defined function. So this is the declaration statement. If the declaration statement is there, then definitely there should have to be one definition of this function, right? So the definition is here. Now as you can see that the myfunc name matches, the data type here matches, and also the data type here for the first parameter matches with the data type here for the first parameter. For the data type here for the second parameter also matches with the data type with the second parameter. And now we are doing the function call within the main function here. Now look very carefully. Within the function call, we are calling it with two values like 5 and 6. So this is the first argument and this is the second argument. So when we are calling this myfunc function with these two arguments, then this my function will be called with this two value. So 5 and 6 will be passed to this function myfunc. And after the necessary processing is being done within the function body, with the help of return statement, we will get the result out of this function and we will store within the result variable here. Look very carefully that this data type also matches with this data type or this return type right here. This is important. Now here as you can see that these two arguments 5 and 6, which is integer type, and this actually matches with this parameter type the integer types. But suppose if you pass the integer value here and if you write the float right here, so what usually happens, the conversion will automatically be done by the program itself. So you can write a different data type right here, but you must have to think that whatever the value that you are passing to that function, are they auto convertible by the program itself, or the conversion process can be done by the program itself or not. If you write the incompatible data types between here and here, then definitely the program is going to give you error.